Would you like to crochet a jumbo chunky throw blanket just like this one? They're perfect for any time of the year, and they make great gifts, and they are great personal blankets to keep for yourself. Hey everyone, welcome to SJ Lopez Designs. If you've never been here before, my name is Samantha and my channel is about crochet. So in today's video, I'm gonna have a full tutorial on my big chunky throw blanket for you guys. I did a previous video, which I'm gonna link up here for you, of just kind of like a chat and crochet, kind of shared a little bit of the details with my big chunky throw. However, this video is a full tutorial for all of you. I've also had different social media platforms, I've had a lot of questions regarding the big chunky throw. So I'm going to answer those as we go along, and if you guys can make it to the end of the video, you'll get to see me play a little yarn chicken. So let's go get started. For this specific throw, I use Yarn Bee from Hobby Lobby in Eternal Bliss. I used Country Blue, and to complete the size of this throw, I had to use 12 skeins total. I used a 30mm crochet hook. The back of the yarn recommends a 25. This was the one that I could find. You can purchase at Joann's, most craft stores, or even on Amazon. I will link that down below for you all. And you will need a lighter for the ends and something to cut with. I normally like to work somewhere comfortable. A lot of times that's just sitting on my bed, in the computer chair, even like a recliner, just somewhere comfortable. However, since I was recording, I am doing everything at my dinner table. So first you want to cast on your yarn. I start with a chain of 31. That gets me the size that I want for this like jumbo chunky size throw. However, if you want to do a smaller blanket, then you can do a smaller count of chain stitches. And I'm actually only going to be crocheting 30 stitches across, like back and forth. That 31st chain is going to be my turning chain. So at the end of each row, you're always going to chain one and you're going to turn, and that way that brings you up to the next level. I know that some people with a single crochet sometimes choose to void that turning chain. However, I'm not voiding that out with this chunky throw. Also too, to help with consistency in your stitch sizes, use that thickest part of the hook to help get your stitches uniform. So you can kind of see me sliding it down. That's helping me with my tension. I know tension is a big thing that a lot of people struggle with, especially like new crocheters. I know for years and years I struggled with it. So I always use my hook to help me with my tension. And as I kind of mentioned briefly a minute ago, we are working single crochet. So no fancy like difficult stitches. We're just single crocheting to create this beautiful chunky throw blanket. As you work each row, you're going to have to flip your work back and forth. I know as the blanket gets bigger and bigger, it's going to be a lot heavier and a little awkward to work back and forth. I know working on the table, I could have just went down to the other end instead of flipping my work. However, if you're sitting on your bed or in a chair or whatever, like most people do, because most people don't crochet at a table, it's better to just like flip your work back to where you are. As you're working on your second row, you want to make sure that your tension remains the same. If your work starts to curl significantly, then that means that your tension is off somewhere. So you want consistency, and if it does start to curl, you probably want to frog your work and start over. Good thing is that we haven't gotten that far just yet. If you've never worked with a size 7 of this Yarn Bee yarn, you really don't get that much yarn in one skein. I think it's only about 28 yards total, which really, yeah, it's very, very minimum. We'll be using a lot of skeins in a short amount of time, and so I'm going to show you how to join skeins so that way you're not getting like a bulkiness in the middle of your blanket. And if you guys can make it to the end, not only are you going to see me play yarn chicken, but I'm also going to show you guys how to take care of the very end tails. So that beginning tail and then the very end, the tail at the end, I'm going to show you how to take care of those. That way you're not trying to weave those back and forth and throughout your work. And it's really like the most efficient way, I think, to take care of those. But I'm going to show you guys more at the end of the video. Since I'm not changing colors, I'm just working this country blue for the whole throw blanket. I'm going to be getting about 31 rows total with 30 stitches across. If I was changing colors, it might be a little bit less because I want to end each row with a solid color. So I don't want to change colors in the middle of a row. But since we're not doing that, I can just change the yarn whenever I run out. Here's a good example of me running out of yarn. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab that next skein of yarn that I need to work from. I'm going to grab my lighter. I need to get both ends together. And you're going to see it here in a moment, but I need to make sure that I can have like a flat part at the end. So I'm kind of like filling that to make sure it's flat. This one was not, so I need to cut that. I want to be able to feel like the little plastic bit in the middle of this skein. Because I'm going to be burning that to kind of melt the ends and like fuse them together. I think this is a really good time for my first Q&A, which is, can you do this same method with a different type of yarn? Maybe like a yarn that's medium weight or more fine. I'm going to say no. Have I tried it? No, I have not. However, I think what works for this is because you've got all of the fibers that make this really chunky and they're attached together because of the plastic piece that's in the center. And really what I'm doing is I'm putting the plastic bit in the center. I'm fusing that part together. And so regular yarn that's more medium or fine does not have that in the center. And so I really feel like you're just going to burn up your yarn or cause an injury or something. So I'm going to say no to that. And this is just my personal thoughts and preference. I am not a professional on that. I have not tried it. I'm just going to say no, I would not try it personally myself. I'm going to go ahead and move on to a second question that I've received. The person said, I've seen people make the blankets with their fingers. Do you use a hook because you prefer it? And I'm going to say yes, I do use a hook because I prefer it, but let me tell you why I prefer it. One, crocheting, while I've seen it done with your hands, it's typically done with a crochet hook, and I can get consistent tension with a crochet hook. I know that there's a lot of videos like circling, I think a lot more like on TikTok of knitters knitting a chunky throw blanket, and they use their hands for that. And while I could look it up and figure out how to do it with like a tutorial, I am not good with my tension whenever I do that. I cannot get the loops consistent. I think I just really need that crochet hook, even if it's one as big as this. I need that crochet hook to get good tension and to have my my stitches be uniform. So that is more of a preference. You know, if you want to go out and like learn a different version, you know, that's completely up to you. I'm just offering a crochet version for you all on here. Also too, I want to throw out there, I don't really feel like either one is like better than the other one. It's just a preference. I think both knit and crochet chunky blankets turn out beautiful, no matter which way you choose to do it. I think we're on a roll now, and I'm going to go ahead and do the third question that I received. They said, I wouldn't be able to write after holding that hook. They actually called it a needle, but we all know they meant, you know, like a hook for a crochet hook. But anyways, they said, doesn't it hurt your hands? And I'm going to be honest on this one, the size of the crochet hook, because it is big and most people aren't familiar or comfortable with using a hook this big. But for me, it really does not hurt my hands. Like, I don't have problems with my hands. I think I more have problems using a smaller crochet hook, you know, for longer periods of time. really what I noticed is like my wrists, you know, it's more of like a wrist movement versus like things with the hands. And so I feel like it's just like every man for themselves. Maybe it would hurt somebody else's hands, but mine personally do not hurt. Just the wrists kind of ache if I've been working on it for a few good hours or so. And I don't know if any of you have tried the micro crochet, but that is something that will definitely hurt the hands. I have worked with thread. You've seen some of my previous videos. I've worked with thread. I've used 1.25 millimeter crochet hook, tiny. I think I have a smaller hook somewhere. But anyways, those will definitely like make your hands like cramp up just holding that tiny thing and then the thread. And then you have to like have good lighting to see for that one. But anyways, that's a subject for a different time. But anyways, we'll move along. Another question that I had was, how do you change colors with such a thick yarn that doesn't show? So I really kind of already like partially answered this earlier whenever I was showing you all how to burn the ends. And then I touched on a little bit when I was talking through there, but you guys want to make sure that if you do choose to use multiple colors, which I have another video where I use 3 different colors, and it's not a full tutorial, but it will kind of show you like how I was going about doing that. You got to make sure that you work to the very end. So like, sometimes you'll play yarn chicken and you'll run out of yarn like in the middle of a row. And I mean, unless that's the kind of look that you're going for, you want to go ahead and frog that to the end and switch colors at the end. And so you're going to cut them and you're going to burn them and you're going to join them to that new color. And as long as you like, when you're crocheting upwards and you've planned out like the length of the tail that you need, you can hide that in there very well. So it is a little bit tricky. Practice will definitely make you better, but make sure that you're changing colors at the end. There's no need to weave them in because I've showed you the technique of burning the ends together. The chunky throne's really grown pretty big now. It's very bulky, very heavy. It was really hard to kind of get it all on the table here because I didn't want it to hang off and then like drag on the floor. I have hardwood floor and they're nice. However, it just seems like dust and dirt just kind of get flung around, especially when my kids are wearing their shoes upstairs when they're not supposed to. But anyways, the blanket is growing. It's beautiful. If you're bad about like stitches, you want to make sure that you're counting your stitches as you go. I want to talk to you a little bit about the yarn. So I prefer to buy yarn at Joann's. However, Joann's does not have this kind of yarn in the color selection that I really like that Hobby Lobby has. However, Hobby Lobby runs out a lot, and I have found some of the colors in the Yarn Bee online on Amazon. And so I'm going to have that link down below. So that way, if you guys don't have a Hobby Lobby or you want to order online, the link will be right there for you guys. As much as I hate to say it too, I think that this is the row that I played yarn chicken. I really thought that I was going to have enough yarn. You can kind of see it like unraveling there as I'm going. And I'm like, I think I can make it. I think I can get to that very last stitch. And I was literally 1 stitch away from like finishing it. And I thought, oh, it doesn't even have to be long because I don't have to weave the yarn tail in because I'm going to burn it in. And, it's going to be like the perfect amount. And like I said, just 1 stitch more, and it was just not enough. And I didn't want to go back and like try to see if I could get any of the stitches like slightly smaller so that I could make it work. I thought I don't want to like change up my tension like that. So I said, it is what it is. And then sadly, I realized I needed to frog it. So this is me frogging it, unfortunately. Sometimes you just have to admit defeat in this sense, and so I frogged it. The good news is that as soon as this is completely frogged, I just have to finish by showing you guys how to take care of those tails at the 2 ends, and then this jumbo chunky throw blanket is complete. And this is the yarn that I ended up not being able to use. It just wasn't enough, so I'm just going to throw that to the side. So here I just need to cut off a little bit of a tail, and I'm going to go ahead, and you can see that loop there on the corner. I'm going to go ahead and pull that tail through just so that it doesn't like unravel on me. And then I won't leave it that long. I just wanted a little bit so I could kind of like see what I was working with here. And I do like weave it in here like just this like one little spot, but that's just so that I can kind of like get it back in there where I need it to be. And then you can kind of see like I'm matching it to a part in there from the outside. So it's not like in the very middle, but it's more like not on the outside of my work. And I just cut it very, very short. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burn that tip of the tail there. So I just burn it, and then I'm going to push it against the side of that yarn that I chose. And so really you want to kind of like push it up against the plastic bit that you can feel it in there. I know that the yarn, the fibers there are on the outside, but if you push it hard enough, you'll get it to kind of fuse in, and you'll be able to feel like the knot of the plastic on the middle of the yarn there. And then that is like the perfect way to hide in your tails. You're going to go ahead and do the same process with the other tail. I just kind of like pulled it down back through here, and then again, just pick a spot in here, a part that you want to attach it to, and then you're going to just burn the end again, and then hold it to the other piece and make sure that they're good and attached. And then no one will even be able to tell what you did with your ends. They just know that they're taken care of. And ta-da, you're all done. And it looks amazing. I really hope you all enjoyed my video today. I hope that it inspires you to go ahead and make your own jumbo chunky throw blanket. If you enjoyed today's video, please hit that like button. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I've got some great things coming for 2024. And if you have any questions, please ask them below in the comment section. I'll get back to you. Bye, guys.